All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of In Touch with Steve Cherundolo. You're wondering why Steve and I look a little bit upset. It's because everybody off to the side on the set is being loud and they're doing things, and we're trying to do a very important show here, which we are now 26 episodes into. I'm wondering if we get any residuals at this point. Have you been paid?
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to get paid.
I'm good.
You do this
This is fun.
just to hang.
This is fun.
That's why I love you. Let's talk a little bit soccer. After the DC United match, you were very frank with your comments and you said, you know, the way we played, we almost deserve to be punished. And I almost would have liked to seen us be punished.
Yep.
What I want to ask you though is now, since then, you know, there's been losses to San Jose and Austin. Was there a through line that you've been seeing through those that kind of you saw a trend?
Absolutely. I think there were some things we saw against DC, certainly in the second half, creep into our game that continued in San Jose, although we did rotate considerably, and then for sure in Austin. So yeah, this is a game of trends, and there was a very positive trend the previous 7 games before these 3 games. And any time you see something, you immediately try to correct it on the training field. We try to do that, and I feel very good about this week in training and our corrections and our talks with the team and our analysis, and positive we'll see a much improved performance in Houston.
It's not something you guys realized, but you knew it was coming. As this time of year, it gets kind of that playoff vibe. The games start to change. You've got teams jockeying for position, trying to just get in. And you guys being the top dog, you always have a target on your back. So what should the fans be looking for as the games start to change and go into a playoff atmosphere?
Well, I think for us, it's a matter of managing the games. You're in a good position, one we would like to solidify and finish the season in. And I think for us, it's a little bit of an act of patience, also with the fans. So, you know, if things don't start out well, you go behind, that means nothing to us. We can still turn games, change games, and improve in second halves. And I think patience all around is what we all need here at LAFC, and especially in this very important phase of the season.
Oh, Mahama does it again! Chicho, right-footed shot, goal! LAFC!
Our theme this week is back to school. A lot of kids have already gone back, maybe going back today or in the next couple of days. So we want to talk about that. You have 2 daughters that have just started school, and I'm wearing my Chuck Berry shirt today. Chuck Berry has a great song called School Days. Check it out. We're doing this, an Easter egg, I guess you could say, although I gave it away. It's not much of an Easter egg when you give it away. So let's start with your family and going back to school. What are the emotions? You're obviously in the midst of the most important part of the season, but you know, family comes first. The daughters are going back to school. What are the emotions in the house?
Yeah, there were questions. What's the name of my teacher going to be? Who's going to be in my class? It's kind of a mix of.
I love that we got a random inanimate arm. That's Mark Dos Santos that came by if you didn't see it on camera.
It's a mix of emotions. So there's a little bit of like nervousness, also excitement, and then there's like, I'm kind of dreading homework and school again. So it's all of those kind of balled up into one. And so us as parents now in the parenting role, try to relieve the nerves a little bit and take away the anxiety and try to make it positive and fun, because that's how school, if done right, can be.
Speaking of homework, who helps? Is it you or Mandy? Both.
It's really both.
But do you split it by subject? Is she better at one thing than you are? Or?
Well, thankfully, we are talking about 4th and 2nd grade, so I think we should be both we should both be great in all subjects, or adequate, I should say. But yeah, if it goes further, I think the math and sciences gets thrown towards me, and then the rest goes to Mandy.
Well, do you ever look at the math? Because they had that show, Are You Smarter Than a 4th Grader, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever do the math and go like, there's no way I learned this in 4th grade?
Possibly. But what's changed is the method to get to your answer, and then how to document it. That has changed, maybe for the worse, I'll just throw out there.
Why, you have to show all your work? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a very result-oriented person.
You are?
Yes.
Hey, I got the answer. Doesn't matter how I got there.
Leave me alone.
Fair. Speaking of kind of how things have changed, your one daughter did go to school a little bit in Germany. You obviously spent a lot of time in Germany. So how are the school systems different for those that maybe don't understand how the German school system might be different from the US school system, and how your daughter maybe had to transition in that way?
It's completely different. And so there are 3 types of schools you go to, and you have to kind of decide which school you want to go to. So there is a school that prepares you for university, there's a school that prepares you for the workplace, and there's a school that's a bare minimum, right? To get your, I guess, your general education.
Okay.
All right. And you have to choose quite early. So in elementary school, you choose which of these 3 schools you're going to go to. but they're all in the same school. It's just different categories, I guess. So it's very different. I also know that you have one teacher teaching all of the subjects, like it is in elementary school, pretty much all the way through. So it's a little different.
So if you don't
as
like your
well.
teacher,
Yeah, you're bummed.
and for you on a personal note, because of the game in Houston, you're going to be missing kind of the back to school night for your daughters.
Yeah.
Just for you, again, family comes first. Like, how important is that to you, and how much of a bummer is that you're not going to be there for that?
Yeah, sorry, Libby. I'm bummed because they do a great job of decorating the classrooms and making it so personal. Kids have messages for us as well, and it's wonderful to see how your child is learning and developing. And I will put in a personal request to maybe stop by at some point in the next couple of weeks, because I love to see those classrooms and see how our kids learn.
I was gonna say, knowing you'll make it up. You'll
Yeah.
make it up to her one way
For
or
sure.
the other. Maybe you'll do it here, because this might be some fun content for your daughters. We're gonna learn about Steve when he was at school. We've talked a little bit about it, but we didn't go in depth. So let's learn a little bit more. We did learn on a previous episode, I don't know the number, that's my bad. Ceramics was your favorite class, which I feel like was a cop-out. Like, what's your favorite core subject? Like math, reading? Math, really?
Yeah.
You good? You're a mathlete?
Good is relative. I'm certainly not sending rockets into outer space. Good, but I'm efficient.
Okay. For you, teachers do such a big job, and your mom being a retired teacher, you know that firsthand.
Yeah.
Is there a teacher that you still kind of, something that they said or some kind of influence on you still rings true to you today?
I think creating good learning habits started at home. So having a teacher as a parent helps. And
Must have been tough.
Yeah, tough. Yes and no. It was, in retrospect, it's a blessing in disguise. Tough, yeah, because anything you do at school, she taught in the same district, not the same school. So anything I did,
Teachers like to talk.
traveled back to mom. So thanks, mom. It was great to have somebody look a little closer at your study habits, create good habits early on, which makes then further schooling much easier. So I think that is the most important lesson I learned, probably just from home. So that would be my teacher, my mom.
What circles did you run in? The classic high school movie, everyone is either a jock or artsy, or maybe you're kind of in the more smart, nerd, geeky, or maybe you're just an outcast in general. What was your vibe?
I think I can say I wasn't an outcast. All of my friends surfed, skated, on the swim team, water polo team. My older siblings, some of their friends as well. So it was like multi-generational, but I was also an athlete, and so I hung out with some of the athletes. So it was a mix between punk rock skater, surfer kid, and athlete.
Okay.
That makes sense. In a Southern California environment.
That makes sense. Look, when I played, I was kind of like you, kind of a punk rock kid, and soccer was kind of the punk rock sport because everyone played football.
Right.
So that's how you kind of, you were different just because of that.
Yeah, so like the jocks at our school were the football players.
Of course.
Maybe the baseball players.
But they respected you. No.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you were a high-level athlete. I would assume that they thought you were.
Well, I'm pretty sure they do now. If they didn't then.
They do now.
So
fair. What was the hangout? Like, what was the place to go after class?
So Black Mountain was where we all went to school. So that's called the upper fields, and everybody just kind of hung out in the upper fields on your way home.
Do you remember your school mascot?
High school? Yes.
Sure.
Sun Devil?
Sun Devil. Good one.
Yeah.
Go Sun Devils.
Elementary school, we were the Seagulls.
The Seagulls.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you guys were the flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Steve, as you mentioned, the jocks probably respect you now because you have become pretty famous. I would say you're the head of LAFC, and you're in first place. But what I want to ask is, are there any other famous people that you went to school with? Everyone always has somebody that's like, oh yeah, they went on to do this and that. Did you go to school with any famous people?
Just last year was inducted into our high school Hall of Fame group, and it was great to see all of the people that went to that school. And maybe one name we'll know is Billy Bean.
Wow, okay.
Went to Mount Carmel.
Mr. Moneyball.
He's also a Sun Devil.
Okay. Have you read the book?
I have, and I saw the movie, so it's quite interesting stuff. Also getting into our sport as well.
Yeah. Well, numbers are big in your sport as well. So Billy Bean's a good one. I think that's a good one to end on. This has been another episode of In Touch with Steve Cherundolo for all the kids going back to school. Good luck this school year, and we'll see you guys next week.